makes me want to holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, you know, we need them. Yeah, we need those strategies, don't we? Those strategies for living. So are you ready? Are you ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
I'm buckled in. I'm ready.
You better have your seatbelt buckled in today. Hey, folks, welcome into Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillian. She is psychotherapist, POPC Lauren Leon McMillian. You know, a lot of times we feature authors that some of them are controversial.
Okay, yeah,
and
sure.
some of them are provocative.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we do here.
And
we expand minds. And hearts,
we stretch people, and you know, some people, and the author that we're going to talk about today, we're not going to talk to him, but we're going to talk about some of his work. Mm-hmm. Is a guy by the name of Jim Palmer, and he started out with a very Christian publisher. Thomas Nelson, I think, and his first book was called Divine Nobodies, Shedding Religion to Find God and the Unlikely People Who Help You.
And he is a minister, right?
He was, yeah. And then he wrote Wide Open Spaces, Beyond Paint by Number Christianity. Now, both of those were published by a very traditional religious book publisher. And then he wrote Being Jesus in Nashville, and he could not get that published by a traditional publisher. In fact, there's a warning on the book, rejected by major Christian publishers. So there you go. He then went on to write Inner Anarchy, as well as Notes from Over the Edge, Unmasking the Truth to End Your Suffering. He's got a lot of things to say about love. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to consider some of those things today that Jim Palmer has to say about love. How about that?
I think that's a very worthwhile topic.
Folks, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you joining us here on Strategies for Living, and we appreciate our sponsors who make it possible. Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Learning RX, We Train Your Brain, The Balanced Life Wellness Center, Fertitas Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, Pretty Good Muffies too, SRT Sales Training, Uprising Addiction Center, and Mira Direct Primary Care. Back in a moment, thoughts about love today here on Strategies.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem trapped. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
And welcome in. We're glad you're here. Glad you're with us on Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. Going to talk about love today. In fact, some liberating thoughts
What's
about
love got to do about it?
What does love have to do with it? Well, a lot. I mean, the Beatles were right. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Absolutely.
Jim Palmer is a very provocative author. In his first book, which compared to some of his later books were mild. This was a mild book. And it says, what does a hip-hop artist, Waffle House waitress, tire salesman, and disabled girl have to do with discovering spiritual truth? What if embracing authentic Christianity is a journey of unlearning? Yeah. So, I mean, we're acknowledging, I am acknowledging, we're talking about a provocative author here. And but I've got all of his books. I think I've got everything that he wrote because, and I'm not going to say that I agree with 100% of his stuff, but I tell you what I do enjoy, that he stretches my mind.
Right. Yeah.
He leads me into questions. Mm-hmm. Some of his stuff, and you can find some of his stuff on YouTube. And he's got a one particular YouTube video I was watching. He's talking about, Christianity as it's expressed today, as it's practiced today, is not so much Christianity as it is Pollyanity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That the Apostle Paul, after he had his conversion experience,
right,
packaged up. Paul was the first great Christian theologian. And
it's what most of the Christian beliefs are built on.
Yeah,
and even the Bible. And
I think Palmer would agree with me. And he probably says this someplace, but we need less religion and more Jesus. We need, and maybe I could put in, because we're talking about love today, we need more love. Mm-hmm. We need less religion and we need more love.
Well, and I think if you are able to take out all of the stories and the accounts of Jesus, that's what he was teaching.
Oh, sure.
Was love.
Sure, of course.
I mean, and when he was
radical
love. And when he was pressed, right, which of the laws is the most important, right? He summed it up as love.
Yeah.
Love God, love self.
Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So, these are some ideas and thoughts from this very provocative author, Jim Palmer, about love. And he calls them liberating thoughts about love. So I'm going to share them. We're going to share them today. Mm-hmm. Number one, the greatest single need and desire of humankind is love. Mm-hmm. And we get ourselves into a lot of different messes, don't we? We create all kinds of things. But when you really begin to dig underneath the behaviors that people exhibit, and sometimes some of the behaviors that people exhibit are atrocious.
Yeah, but they're all distorted attempts, right?
They may be distorted, but they're attempts because they're seeking some form of love. The greatest single need and desire is love.
When he says this is a liberating idea, what I want us to think about is when we are able to step back and see that which it is a great truth, right?
Yeah.
That's all we are really all after, is longing to feel loved and safe. When we see this, your judgment can soften.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
and so
absolutely.
you can be able to say to yourself, this person is trying to seek out love.
Yeah. And that leads to number two. Every person is worthy of receiving love. Mm. And again, if we are all creations of God, if we are all children of God,
of love,
and are children of love, mm-hmm.
then
then certainly who would not be worthy
Yeah. Well,
of love, right?
well, and I think that's sort of the idea behind, we hear a lot in doctrine that we are to receive the inheritance. We're the inheritance.
Yeah,
Well, that means that we are the love which created us.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
And so we're more than worthy of receiving it because it is
It is
the truth of who we
who
are.
we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, there is never a moment when you cannot love.
Mm.
And that is so true. Man, that's true. And yeah, we as human beings, we get into patterns of behavior. We were kind of having a conversation on this earlier today with the young man that we help and school and
Right.
and it was a conversation, that really kind of focused here that, well, he was expressing some things that he wanted to change,
Mm-hmm.
but acknowledging how hard that was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true.
Sure.
And I mean, any of us could relate to what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
It is, change is sometimes one of the most difficult things we do because our behaviors are patterns. A lot of our behaviors are in patterns.
Right.
And so we get into habits and patterns, and man, it is tough. I've said this earlier in the week. I've been through some health challenges here lately,
Mm-hmm.
and since I'm living with Attila the nun,
Yes.
who is feeding me now,
Here and accounted for.
and she has her edict from above and on high is that I am not doing sugar,
Right.
and I can tell you that's hard
Yeah.
because I've
it's
had
been
a
for
sweet
you.
I've had a sweet tooth my entire life.
I know.
I grew up on Coca-Cola, and so I acknowledge that this may be one of the harder things that I've undertaken. I also acknowledge begrudgingly that I am very appreciative
Yeah.
of Attila the nun.
Well, it's that's one of those moments, right? Love doesn't always look like engagement. It doesn't always look like we expect it to look.
That's a good point, Lauren. That's a very, very good point because, again, on either end, on the giving end or the receiving end.
Right.
Because I know, and you've expressed it, you don't like to deny me.
No, I
You know?
don't. At
You don't-
all.
you don't
That's
like
not
that at
something
all.
I want to do, and it's not about. I don't want to control you.
And you're
or-
not. I'm going to be real clear
Yeah.
here to people. You're not denying me.
Yeah, no.
You have made a request, and that request made good sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going along with it. I just choose to have a little fun with it
Yeah,
and call you Attila the nun.
Right, and I totally appreciate and respect that. I think it adds a little play to the
yeah, exactly. You
to the
got
hardship.
you gotta play a little bit. I picked up we had Carla, our sweet mate Carla, keeps peppermint candies out, and
Which is pure
I looked up to see how many calories are in peppermint candies, and there's 20.
Yeah, but it's
a serving is 3 candies,
Yes.
and so a serving is 60 calories. So 60 divided by 3, that's 20 calories each. So I just picked up a piece of candy, and you talked me out of it.
Well,
And-
it's pure sugar.
Well, yeah,
That's all it is.
I
A little
understand.
flavoring.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, is there anything better? So there is never a moment when you cannot love.
All of 3 of these just here at the beginning remind me of something that Jesus said over and over again, and I want to kind of reinterpret too, and in a way. Something he said over and over again was, "Be not afraid."
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And interestingly enough, if you look up the etymology, which is where the word came from, afraid.
Yeah.
It breaks down to 2 root words, and afraid means out of love. So
Wow.
what he was saying, perhaps over and over
Be
again,
not out of love.
be not out of love.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a request or a command, but a great truth.
Yeah.
That you cannot possibly be out of love. Although in as many myriad of ways that we like to think ourselves as separate from love and block love, we cannot actually be out of love.
Yeah,
ever.
impossible, because that really at our core is what we are.
Yeah.
And number 4 leads right into number 4, which
Okay.
is the greatest power we possess is the power to love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Well, and we see that all the time.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. And yet, in our planet, which is largely egoic and run from a very low level of consciousness, love is sometimes appears not to be present. It always is.
Oh yeah,
It
it's
is always there.
but you've got to be willing to look.
You do. And we're talking some liberating thoughts about love today from a very provocative author. His name is Jim Palmer. If you want to look up his books, Divine Nobodies was his first book. Wide Open Spaces, Being Jesus in Nashville, Inner Anarchy, Peace is rubbed out and it's inner anarchy. And then finally, Notes from Over the Edge, Unmasking the Truth to End Your Suffering. I think that's all that he's written so far. We'll be back. We've got more on love today here on Strategies for Living. Stay with us.
Life gets hard along the way. Gotta get through it day by day. We get strategies right here. Strategies for Living Radio. Our dose of radio rehab. Strategies for Living Radio.
Welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Glad you are with us today. Don't forget, if you missed some of the program and you say, gosh, I wish I wish I could go back and listen to that. And I hope some people do. And you can, because we're, in addition to being on the radio, we are in podcast. So you can go to your favorite podcast provider, and there's a lot of them, Apple and iHeart and Spotify, all of them.
Castbox, you name it.
Yeah, you name it. We're all you got to do is hit the search, put in Strategies for Living, and we'll pop up. Please subscribe, and you never have to miss a program.
Nope, and you can go back and listen to as many as you want.
Yeah, because let's face it, listening on the radio, most people are going to get bits and pieces of a program, and so if you want to listen to the whole thing, podcasting is the way to do it.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're talking about liberating ideas today about love. Could there be anything more important that we're talking about?
No.
So number 5 is every thought, word, act, and expression motivated by love matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's important to remember that nothing done in love is wasted, right? Even if it's unseen or unreturned, right?
A lot of times, I'm glad you said that, Lauren, because a lot of time that puts us off when we feel like, well, I've stretched for this person or that person or this place, and I don't feel like it's getting returned. And what we have to understand is if you have acted, thought, spoken, expressed love, then
you're planting seeds
with
your presence.
And you're being who you are. And there can't be anything better than that.
Right.
To come out of love.
And to know from a place deep within you that everyone that you encounter benefits from your being from love.
Absolutely. And Jesus told a parable about that, and the parable of the spreading of the seeds, the sowing of the seeds. Some of it's going to fall on just hard ground, and it's not going to. It's going to be eaten by the birds or spread away or whatever, and won't take root.
Yeah.
But some of it will.
Right.
And so you keep going. We keep going. And so number 6 kind of feeds into that, but it's an idea of freedom. Freedom is always being able to choose love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even when we're triggered, right?
Especially when we're triggered.
We still have a moment of choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's easy, but it's always possible.
I was talking to a couple earlier today that I've worked with for a while, and one of the things that we've worked on is the concept of timeout.
Mm-hmm.
When one or the other gets triggered, and so one was telling me that a timeout had been successfully used.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's so, and to for the other partner to understand, okay, well, it feels like I just got walked out on, but you didn't. It was just like, okay, I don't want to get to a point of being triggered.
Right.
Let's call a timeout. We'll come back to it. And they did.
I want to be able to act from a place of love, right?
Yeah.
And like we talk about so often, true freedom isn't doing what we feel, but choosing how to respond.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we always have the choice of love.
And so freedom's always being able to choose love. Number 7 is love is the highest expression and fulfillment of any true philosophy, religion, and spirituality. Let me say that again, because there's a lot of philosophies out there, a lot of religions out there. Even in the Christian faith, there's 40 some odd thousand different expressions.
Right.
So we go crazy. But how do we tell? This is a litmus test. Love is the highest expression and fulfillment of any true philosophy, religion, and spirituality.
It unifies what doctrines divide.
Yeah, that kind of cuts to the core, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because if it's all there is, and if it's truly what we come from, and it is the wholeness, of course, everything leads back to the wholeness.
Yeah. But again, some people may be asking right now, this moment, okay, well, there's a lot of religion in the world. How did our world get to where it is today? And that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
But the question, that I would pose back is, do we truly understand the power of the ego? And this is trite in a way, but EGO could stand for easing God out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so ego tells us that I'm in control, I'm powerful. And you do have a lot of power.
You do.
But you don't have
you don't have a lot of control.
You don't have a lot of control over what's going on in the world.
No.
Right now, ego has more control over what's going on in the world. And that's just the truth.
Well, it thinks it does.
It thinks it does, yeah. If we believe in the higher power, and we believe in the concept, the idea, and the reality of God, then it's just a matter of time.
Right.
Now, it's not our time. So we may be talking
it's not
about
our time, and it may look very different from what we expect or think it ought to look like.
Maybe we're talking 10,000 or 100,000 years. I don't know. But, love will prevail. In the end, love will prevail.
There's a song I like, and it says, hate may win a battle, but love will win the war.
Absolutely. Yes. Number 8, our deepest personal work is to remove the barriers we have built inside ourselves against love. Now, this one is so very important, so I'm going to repeat it again.
Okay. Yep.
Our deepest personal work is to remove the barriers we have built inside ourselves against love. Remember earlier, we said we are love. And we're all,
Absolutely.
no matter what we're doing, we're always seeking love. And it may be bass-ackward, it may be, and by bass-ackward, I mean,
It's a very warped and twisted way to try to seek out.
driven from ego, right? But if we can really understand the idea that we put barriers within ourselves, and we build them, and we build those things for some reason to shield us from love, because love is like God, all powerful, and sometimes we're afraid of that level of power. Yeah.
And I think we also get so wrapped up in our world of form that we think that we can actually be hurt or led astray, right? And that's something that we really can't in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah.
And we don't need to learn or earn love. We need to uncover it. It's I think that's the true meaning of that commandment that says, "Don't use God's name in vain."
Yeah.
Right?
Think about that.
Yeah.
You think about that, and how, again,
well, what's the main vanity or word that we usually use? We say, well, you really shouldn't say GD, right?
Yeah.
Well, what are you really saying there?
Yeah.
You're damning God,
which is damning love.
You're blocking love. In
which
what
is damning
ways,
yourself.
Exactly. So in what ways in your life are you damning or blocking God or love? And that, I think, touches on the true meaning of that quote unquote commandment.
Yeah.
To not use the Lord's name in vain.
I like the way that Neil Donald Walsh presents it.
Yeah, as the commitments.
Instead, he has God talking and God saying, if I'm the all-powerful God, why would I need to command anybody? These aren't commandments. These are commitments.
Yeah, they're signs that you're
on the
way.
right path.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, man, that, and by the way, that's, if you are interested in that, that's in Conversations with God, Book 1 by Neil Donald Walsh. But it's again, I know it's provocative, but right now the commandments are very provocative because they're in Louisiana. We're putting them up in the classrooms, and that's causing a bit of consternation in some places. But I no matter what, they make sense. No matter what faith tradition you come out of. How could we disagree with those 10 commitments? Yeah. Hard to do, in my opinion, but it's just my opinion. So number 9 is there is no higher calling than being love. There is no higher calling than being love.
I love that he uses the word being, right? He
Yep.
doesn't say doing love or doing loving things, but being love and becoming a loving presence, right? It's that shift from how am I doing to how am I being? Who am I being?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we know people, and we know we can do this. We can do loving acts that actually leave us empty because you're not actually coming from being in a state of love.
Yeah.
If you're being in a state of love, it overflows and there's no expectation in return.
No, because
love is.
Love is, and you're just loving.
Yeah.
And can't do better than that. We are we're talking about, well, we couldn't be talking about anything more important today. Liberating thoughts about love. We've gotten 9 of them so far, so we've got a few to go here on Strategies for Living. Come back and stay with us. More about love to come on Strategies.
We all have have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies, strategies, strategies for living radio.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, talking about, we couldn't be talking about anything more important today than what we're talking about, because we're talking about love. And some ideas from a very provocative author, Jim Palmer, and his ideas about love. And so let's see. Right before we went to break, we talked about there is no higher calling than being love. And that leads into number 10, which is love. Giving it or receiving it is transformational.
Ooh.
Now, this goes into something I think you were talking about earlier in the program.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes we give it and we don't feel like we get it. But we're missing the point, because love, giving it or receiving it, is transformational. You cannot help but be changed when you come out of love.
Well, when this kind of hits on actually a kind of a Course in Miracles foundation, which is like giving and receiving are the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you're coming from love, let's just think about this semi-logically, right? If you're coming from all that is, of course giving and receiving are the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then if we also know the great power of love, and it is transformational. And I think this truth touches on why we stray. Why so many people can be so afraid of it, because we're afraid of change and what it does in our lives, because it is. Letting yourself be loved or letting yourself love is truly an act of courage.
Because it's an act of change.
And it does. And
growth.
It expands your own capacity and openness.
Absolutely. Number 11, the cornerstone of wholeness is loving yourself. Yeah. And again, that love your neighbor as you love yourself. And love God and love your neighbor as you love yourself. And too many times I think we lop that last part off. We work on loving God and we work on loving our neighbor like crazy. But if we don't love ourselves, then we're missing something.
Well, you can't sustainably give, right? You can't give what you withhold from yourself.
Right.
And you can't find love, you can't find wholeness until you stop abandoning yourself.
Absolutely.
Until you find the wholeness within.
Number 12, if we are ever confused about what to do, stop and ask, what would love do?
I love this one.
Yeah, isn't that a good one? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
it cuts through overthinking, and it cuts through fear-based decision making, right? And it says, what would love do?
Yeah. And it may take some, we may invest some time
and this is different,
in contemplation.
Right. Love is different than just being nice or polite.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, because love might speak the truth, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Love might set a boundary. Love might offer grace.
Yes.
Right? And it's not always nice.
Right.
But it is aligned and true. And that's what love is. It's wholeness.
Absolutely. Number 13, the world is not too far gone to be transformed by love.
Nope.
Now, if that's not good news, that I don't know what is. And that really is what Jesus came to proclaim, that the world that he entered a couple of thousand years ago was probably as screwed up as our world today.
Yeah.
But the world is not too far gone to be transformed by love.
Never too far gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you say, it is all love.
Yeah.
Just expressed as separation.
Right.
Right? And
so fear and all the other things that our ego leads us into.
It's kind of that idea of you can never not, you're always speaking my name, right?
Yeah.
You're always love. So it's never too far gone to be transformed by what you are.
Number 14, the most profound religious statement is God is love.
I'll never forget this. I when I was a kid, I guess I was in middle school or so, a friend invited me to her youth group. She was big into I think it was a non-denominational Christian youth group. And,
Right.
So I went with her one day, and there were probably 10, 15 young people around the table. And the youth minister offered the question, well, what is God? Who is God? And everybody was quiet, and I just immediately said love, and they all, their jaws dropped, and they looked at me like I had...
You were from another world.
Yeah, and it just was a kind of a, well, isn't that obvious? But
And
apparently not.
And that's one of the things we have to learn. Number 15, a word that could be used to name your fundamental self and nature is love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about
Yeah.
all the time, right?
It just cuts through the, all of the minutia. And gosh, there's a lot of minutia in all of our worlds.
And I think we also, I guess maybe this is particular in the work that I'm in, but I think a lot of us get fixated on fixing ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But if love is our fundamental nature, what that means is there's no fixing.
No, it's about finding.
It's about finding. It's about remembering.
Yeah. Yep.
Literally remembering,
Yeah.
bringing together love again within yourself.
Number 16, the chief characteristic of true enlightenment is love.
Mm.
People talk about wanting to be enlightened, and it's important to seek enlightenment. And we talk about it as if when you hear people talk about it, we talk about it as if it's some grand hidden mystery. And yet it's not.
Right.
It's love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the other misnomer is we think about enlightenment as this detached guru who doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
But I think it appears as detachment, but paradoxically, it comes from a state of deep connection.
Yeah.
Right? To who and what we truly are, which is love. And hopefully we are all on the path to remembering that.
Palmer says, the best I know to say is don't leave love left undone. There may be things you don't accomplish, attain, or achieve in this world, but don't let shrinking back from love be one of them. If you're fortunate, you discover that love is the only thing that really matters. Love heals everything, and love is all there is. On your way out of this world, you'll look back and see it was always about that. It was always love. Isn't that powerful?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some great stuff from Mr. Palmer today. Thanks to Jim Palmer. And, you can look him up, read some of his books, watch some of his videos on YouTube, but be warned, he's provocative. Be forewarned. He's going to stretch you. He's going to make you think.
That's important. That's what we're here to do.
There you go. We'll be back with more strategies for living in just a moment. So don't go away. Stay with us. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. So lots of talking about love today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's all we need. The Beatles were right.
That's it.
All we had to do was listen to them.
That's all we need. And that's all there is.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your takeaway from Jim Palmer's thoughts about love today?
Well, I think we could all use a dose of remembering what and who we truly are. And I think if we could all wrestle with the idea that maybe it is all love. And what would that mean? Right?
What would that look like?
What would that look like? And I love that question. If we could begin to see through the eyes of love and be in love. You know, if we could practice asking, okay, well, maybe they're just asking for love. So what would love do? Right?
Yeah. And remember, when we're saying love, remember we're not talking about
it's not
love
a feeling.
like romantic love.
No,
that's a form of love.
It's a sort of, I guess we're touching on agape.
Yeah.
Right? The wholeness
a
of
willingness to stretch for ourselves or for another and expand ourselves, stretch our ego boundaries.
Right.
And if you're true, that's one of the ways you know if you're truly loving, because it's going to stretch.
And it transforms you.
And
That's
in that stretching is definitely transformation. Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Palmer, thank you wherever you are. And folks, thank you. We appreciate you being with us here on Strategies for Living. And we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX. We train your brain. The Balanced Life Wellness Center. Fertitas Delicatessen, home of the Godfather. Alligator Italian sausage, and some pretty good muffies, too. SRT, Sales Training, Uprising, Addiction Center, and Mira, Direct Primary Care. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who is it that you'd call? And what is it that you'd say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillian, I'm David McMillian. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.